Para muchas personas el sueño americano es venir, trabajar y empezar a construir algo en tu país. Para mí mi sueño americano es diferente. Me gustaría que cada uno de los residentes, que todos podamos dormir una noche tranquila sabiendo que no vamos a perder nuestro hogar.
Quand je retrouve Laura 8 mois après notre dernière rencontre, le Covid continue de faire des dégâts. Son rêve semble s'éloigner.
Jaden, lo puedes poner así abajo, mira. También aquí.
Face à la pandémie, le télétravail n'a pas été une option pour les habitants d'Palo Alto. Beaucoup sont tombés malades ou ont perdu leur emploi. Payer son loyer est devenu un défi et les menaces d'expulsion se sont multipliées. La mesure, elle, ou l'idée de créer un fonds pour aider les locataires en difficulté, est devenue une urgence. À l'inverse, les entreprises de la tech ne se sont jamais aussi bien portées. Le rêve s'est réalisé. Avec les confinements, nous sommes devenus plus que jamais dépendants des applications pour communiquer, travailler, nous divertir et consommer. Une révolution. Sauf que pour les habitants d'Palo Alto, cette révolution est autrement plus agressive et se joue sur leur palier.
As a kid, my mom and I always say, oh, let's go see the houses up here. It was always something for us to look at and marvel at and to, really be impressed by it. It makes you understand where we could be. We're gonna meet up with a council member named Ray Mueller. He's a council member for the city of Menlo Park. He's been there for quite some time.
Menlo Park, c'est la voisine d'Palo Alto, et surtout le terrain de jeu de Facebook, au point qu'on la surnomme la Facebook City. L'entreprise agrandit sans cesse ses installations, rachète des terrains et construit aussi à ses frais les équipements dont la ville a besoin. Une générosité qui aiguise l'intérêt d'Antonio.
I feel like I'm being reared in a political environment that is so divided. And I think there's a way you can meet people in the middle, especially in the council meetings, to be honest, man. I try to be like, all right, let me try to find my niche. And I'm sure Menlo Park, man, you have, just because of the economic breadth of the city. Yeah. Like that buy-in.
They're buying in.
So how do you have that buy-in from a community? And I know you guys had the now Meta groundbreaking ceremony for the community center in Belhaven. That was huge. A couple Saturdays ago, huh?
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it was really big. Yeah, Meta. We were really fortunate to partner with Meta. They're building with us a new community campus there, and it's going to have a full-service aquatic center.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can see that there are benefits to working with development.
Yeah.
You start talking to people about issues that matter to them.
That's right.
And how this can actually affect that in a positive way. And then people will say, okay, this is something that's going to make sense for my family, for my kids.
Part of the reluctance, Ray, is if you hear the public comment, is like people have this ethos of distrust from past practices.
Right.
So, it's not that I'm advocating for enormous development, but just to say sober fact, this is a new era, and we never dreamt of this. And I haven't met with Meta representatives, but to me, it kind of gives us these glimmers of hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I have to give Facebook credit. We told them that we needed a plan that really works for Menlo Park. You know what? They listened, and now the plan's good. It's really good.
Facebook serait le grand bienfaiteur de Menlo Park. Le conte de fées est beau, mais il y a bien une contrepartie. La privatisation progressive de tous les services publics. Équipements sportifs, écoles, bibliothèques. Facebook, comme tant d'autres entreprises de la région, peut aussi compter sur son organisation philanthropique, qui finance quantité de projets hors de tout contrôle démocratique. Peu à peu, la tech s'immisce partout.
Right here in Palo Alto, Menlo Park, you got some of the most oppressive cultures and the most oppressive systems that you're going to come in contact with.
Facebook is funding Menlo Park Police Department, which, you know, a stone's throw away, our borders touch. And now it is very common to see Menlo Park police sliding through our neighborhoods.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. And you know better. You're from East Palo Alto. You know better. Come on now. You know better too, black man.
Personally, I would just love to know if he's following people to their house and it has nothing to do with an investigation.
Cops racially profiling people, planting evidence on people, falsely arresting people, abusing people. It's a strategy on gaining control over this area.
Fuck. Fuck.
Si la tech veut étendre son emprise, c'est notamment pour loger ses employés, toujours plus nombreux. Du côté des promoteurs, il y a de l'argent à se faire et toutes les stratégies sont bonnes pour y parvenir. Aujourd'hui, c'est le quartier de Laura qui les intéresse. Leur projet, détruire et reconstruire un vaste lot d'immeubles à loyer modéré. Pour les rénover, à les écouter, mais surtout pour attirer un nouveau public plus fortuné.
Buenas noches al concilio, mi nombre es Osmin Hernández. Mi preocupación es que si llegan a hacer el nuevo edificio, pues magnífico, pero hablan de requisitos de calificar. Yo trabajo de jardinero, nomás gano $22 la hora. No especifican cuánto va a ser el precio de los nuevos apartamentos. Entonces yo, lógicamente que yo no voy a calificar o no voy a alcanzar a pagar esa renta. Entonces es lo que yo quiero que la ciudad tome en cuenta.
Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias.
To start with, just a comment. Just from having heard the community, I understand that there's been a lot of rounds with, by the developer, and yet there's a missing trust factor. I think we can talk about the pros and cons all day, and I think there's plenty of pros here.
Si Antonio aprueba este proyecto, nos vamos a mandar directito la M con mayúsculas, subrayado y en negritas. Si aprueba este proyecto.
Just trying to find a way of unifying and building a bridge between that.
Trouver un terrain d'entente, restaurer la confiance, c'est sans doute plus facile à dire qu'à faire, car la pandémie a une nouvelle fois révélé le vrai visage de la tech. Quand leurs bureaux se sont vidés, les géants du numérique ont promis de sauver les emplois de leurs sous-traitants, hommes et femmes de ménage ou cuisiniers. Ils ont finalement été licenciés par milliers. Laura et Ophélia sont aux premières loges pour assister aux dégâts.
Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Cómo están ustedes con su renta? ¿Si pudieron pagar su renta ahorita en tiempos difíciles de COVID? Los sábados hay un programa en San Mateo donde ustedes van y les regalan ropa.
It's really heartbreaking to have parents come in here and say, like, hey, I need to pay my rent, so I haven't been buying my kids shoes this whole past year. The potential for an eviction tsunami in East Palo Alto is extremely scary.
Pendant que Laura et Ophélia se démènent pour aider les habitants, Antonio, lui, m'apparaît beaucoup plus serein et mise sur la capacité de chacun à s'adapter. Des mots qui ne sont pas sans rappeler le discours dominant dans la région.
When the pandemic first hit, I immediately felt like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so
I've decided to cut here outside where people would feel more safe and things would be more safe.
Right.
And I was really surprised because a lot of people were open to it.
Instead of being in the dumps or negative, you're like, I got an opportunity.
Ding,
like
ding,
the light bulb
ding,
came
ding,
out.
ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
says a lot about just your hustle, like your innovation.
Sure.
And how we as a people, we pivot, we adapt. You know what I'm saying?
To whatever.
To whatever.
To whatever.
The circumstances may be.
Yep. When we first moved here in the 70s, it was, I don't remember seeing no other race here but black. It was like 100% black.
But when white folks start moving in, you're like, oh.
What's going on?
What's going on?
Uh-huh.
Like I remember.
What's going on?
I remember 3-4 years ago, it was the first time I saw a white girl jogging down the street, like casually. And it's not a big deal. Like people can jog, but I just never saw it, bro.
Yeah, sure.
I never saw it growing up.
Sure. It's not something we're used to seeing at all.
And
you know, if you seen a white person running through East Palo Alto back in the day, they're running from someone.
This is the most dangerous neighborhood in America. Not Washington, D.C. or Detroit or Los Angeles, but a small California town, East Palo Alto.
Si East Palo Alto conserve encore aujourd'hui une réputation sulfureuse, c'est qu'elle fut dans les années 90 la capitale du meurtre des États-Unis. Un ghetto délaissé, livré à lui-même, qui a dû miser sur le courage de ses habitants pour sortir de cette spirale infernale. Bob Hoover et Bill Vines étaient en première ligne de ce combat.
It is not comforting to see a young man remains just lying in the street. A young man that you spoke with the day before.
These children live in a city so dangerous, the superintendent of schools made a shocking proposal. Buy burial insurance for every child in town.
It was like a funeral damn near every other week in this community. It was killing us.
The police were not able to give us any relief, but we were not going to be deterred from taking back our city.
There was a group of us, there were about 20 men, and we decided we needed to do something. We called ourselves Just Us, and we said, you know, if we're gonna save our community, it has to be us, so it's just us.
I got your picture, I don't need your license plate number.
And we started going out on the streets where these kids were selling drugs, so we'd see a drug sale, and we'd call the police.
For us, it was a matter of who runs the city.
By end of the 90s, we were beginning to get control. We learned that no matter how difficult the situation is at the present time, you can change it.
Les habitants d'East Palo Alto ont repris le contrôle de leur ville. Mais ironie de l'histoire, les promoteurs ont remplacé les dealers. La gentrification a pu démarrer. De nouveaux habitants plus riches ont commencé à remplacer les plus modestes. Antonio a toujours dénoncé ce fléau. Il a rédigé des tribunes, interpellé les politiques et même publié un livre sur le sujet. Mais c'est un tout autre discours qu'il tient aujourd'hui devant des lycéens venus l'écouter.
I grew up in a working class family, Mexican immigrants. They came from Michoacan in the 80s here to the United States. My dad started doing some farm work, dishwashing, working in hotels. Working class life. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. They grew up and saw that change in culture and history of East Palo Alto. And the hard part is, here's the hard part. When you have a community of people, black and brown minorities of color, who historically have been slighted by the government, who historically cannot trust the government, how do I, as an elected official, convince you that we should have development. If all of you see are negative things about development, if all you see are big buildings that you don't feel belong to you, that's a tough question. It's about playing chess, it's about strategy.
¿Qué le gustó, jefe? ¿Qué le damos? Ahorita le digo el precio. ¿Es this one? $40 for you. En especial for you. Apoyen a pagar la renta porque los precios en esta área están carísimos.
35.
Este es tu único trabajo.
Ahorita sí.
Para sacar a tu familia adelante.
Apenas me metí a un restaurante para ser bartender.
Mi hijo tiene 28 años, es padre de 5 niños. Vivía en Palo Alto, pero los precios tan altos hicieron que él se tuviera que mudar a otra ciudad.
¿Vas a probar su bistec enchilado?
Sí me siento un poco preocupada porque pienso que está sobreviviendo. A otros sazones porque tu mamá ya no cocina. Vienen a ver, o sea, para sacar para la renta. Es lo que... Hi. Hola. Hi. Entonces, no sé si es interesada en apoyarnos en esta medida. Bueno, vecino.
Des histoires comme celle du fils de Laura, j'en ai entendu des dizaines. Des pères et des mères de famille obligés de quitter la ville, qui perdent leur emploi ou sont contraints de faire des centaines de kilomètres pour venir travailler. C'est l'autre visage du modèle de la Silicon Valley quand on ne fait pas partie des gagnants.
Hizo algo que no debía hacer. ¿Qué fue lo que hizo?
Todo el fin de semana trabajé caminando, yo sé.
Respire. Vamos a hacer una tensión ahí. Está tenso. Muy bien. Tengo que engañarla porque si no, no me deja hacer el movimiento.
Como todos los hombres.
Quand je retrouve Antonio quelques jours plus tard, il a rendez-vous avec un certain Mark Dynan, dont le nom revient de plus en plus dans les conversations.
Hey Antonio. Welcome, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for...
Mark Dynan est un entrepreneur de la tech installé à Palo Alto. Il s'est déclaré candidat aux élections municipales et a de grandes ambitions pour la ville.
When I was 28, I was living in a community where I could walk to a cafe, I could go out for a bar, there'd be live music at local establishments, and you have to leave East Palo Alto to do all that stuff right now. And that's not right.
A lot of politics is perception.
Yeah.
And part of the change making that we have to do is bringing people to understand the limited resources we have.
I think one of the reasons why I'm running is we need leadership that's looking forward, not looking backwards, not trying to freeze East Palo Alto in time. And also, you know, working with developers to bring things that the community needs and wants into the city.
That's how you meet the moment. You know, honor the past, right? But also adapt to the new.
You know, change is hard, but that change is happening anyway. It just is, if we build more housing, we're going to have less displacement. Because if you don't build housing for that Facebook engineer, they're going to buy a house in the gardens and displace everybody there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, to me, is somebody who he understands the infrastructure, he understands economic development, but also with a heart for the city.
¿Cómo? No, es un traidor. No,
Sí,
no
es
solo,
un traidor.
No solo...
Porque nosotros lo apoyamos y ahorita nos traicionó.
Él dice lo que él piensa que queremos escuchar, pero se voltea y apoya a gente que ni ha estado aquí en Palo Alto por más de, yo no sé, los que como que vienen llegando nuevos a la comunidad y tienen prioridades diferentes.
Exactamente.
Yo entiendo que como un oficial público tienes que escuchar todas las voces, pero al fin del día, ¿cuáles son tus valores? ¿Cuáles son tus prioridades de Antonio López?
The world's on fire, the devil's out of his hole. How much silver to sell your soul? The world's on fire, the devil's out of his hole. Tell me how much silver to sell your soul. Tell me